Why do women stop having sex after marriage? It's a question no one wants to ask openly, and one that destroys marriages every day. Today, we'll talk about the real reasons, not the ones offered by therapists and self-help books. It's the shocking and disturbing truth about what happens in a woman's mind and body when she struggles for intimacy. Let's begin. The main reason women lose interest in sex is something most people don't consider. Every time we engage in sex, we feel as though we're giving away a part of ourselves that we shouldn't. Let's remember this for a moment. It's like our masculinity is being stripped away, as if there's a hidden void within us. And every time we're intimate, we feel as though that void is being ripped from us. We're running out of energy. That's all there is to it. This feeling is real, but it's not because of him. Not because he's demanding or selfish or only interested in one thing. It's because of us. It stems from our relationship with ourselves. It stems from what I call unhappiness. And I don't mean sadness, but rather a feeling of loneliness and isolation. We don't have that here. There's nothing we can fully dedicate ourselves to. Think about it. We women give everything to others: children, home, work, family members. A friend who always needs something. We put ourselves last on the priority list. Then we wonder why we feel so exhausted. Is it a lack of self-confidence? A failure to understand what we need to feel complete? What do we need to feel capable of giving to our spouse, our children, and our marriage? We don't ask these questions, and therein lies the paradox. Ultimately, we are the masters of our own destinies. But we're also incredibly selfish and self-centered, and these two things are inextricably linked. When you feel exhausted and empty, you feel empowered. You feel empowered to be independent. You feel empowered to resist. You feel empowered to say, I have nothing left to offer, as if that were a perfectly valid excuse to end a whole part of your marriage. But this emptiness isn't his fault. The main reason for this is our unwillingness to take care of ourselves. The second reason for women's loss of libido is self-blame, which is a very deep-seated issue. In fact, most women, if we're being completely honest, are not satisfied with themselves. We lack self-confidence, we constantly criticize ourselves, and we compare ourselves to other women, to their bodies, their lives, their Instagram posts, and their seemingly perfect marriages. We scrutinize our outward appearance. We blame ourselves for not being adequate. We blame ourselves for not being thin, for not being successful, for not being prepared. And yet we can stand upright. How perfect. We smile. We think everything is fine. We believe we have all the answers. But if we shone a light on the dark corners of our minds, we would see the truth. We don't love ourselves. Some of us even hate ourselves. And when we feel this way about ourselves, we avoid anything that might make us feel good. Sex is designed to be pleasurable. That's why God created our bodies, our nerve endings, and our capacity for pleasure in this way. We were created to experience pleasure. But when you hate yourself, you don't believe you deserve it. So you deprive yourself, you shut yourself off, and you punish yourself for not wanting to try something good. And in the process, you punish your husband. It's not about him, and it never has been. It's a battle you're waging with yourself. The third reason, and one most women don't admit to, is control. As we get older and as we get married, something happens to us. Life seems so chaotic and unstable that we become more stubborn, more fearful, and more eager to control everything around us. We start clinging on, holding on, trying to control every variable, every outcome, and every potential threat. Sex threatens that feeling of control, because to truly enjoy sex, to be present, to let go of control, to feel joy, you have to let go of control. You have to surrender. You have to stop being in control for 5 minutes and just be. And that's scary. So we lose the spontaneity, the exploration, the vitality we had as children. We will change everything by force and by rules. Not tonight. I have many ideas, but this is what we refuse to accept. That's why we can't give up, because control is safer than being with someone we truly want to be with, honestly and transparently. We can only address it by denying it. We can only address what we are willing to reveal, what we are willing to see, and what we are willing to accept. The fourth reason women stop having sex is that we haven't learned to enjoy ourselves in the first place, and that hurts. Most of us have had sex for the wrong reasons from the start. We've used it as a tool, a way to cheat or to get something: attention, admiration, connection, and ultimately a man who makes us desirable. We've had sex for him. We've done what we thought was necessary to attract his attention. We've put on the show we've seen in movies, the one we think men expect, and that makes us desirable. And throughout this whole show, we haven't stopped to ask ourselves, what do I really like? We don't know our own bodies. We're afraid to explore. Instead of looking at sex honestly, we've made it a huge, complicated thing. We were created to enjoy a physical experience. Men understand this. For them, sex is simple. It's physical. It's pleasurable. It's something the body was created for and enjoys. But we've made it emotional. It's about love, relationships, and deeper meaning. We've convinced ourselves that sex equals commitment, that it equals value, and that it always holds profound meaning. Then we believe all the myths society feeds us, that we need to be like furnaces, that we need long foreplay, that we must always reach orgasm or it's pointless, and that men have to go to all this trouble to prepare us psychologically. Honestly, it's all nonsense. When you know yourself well and you make the effort to define what you want and what you don't want, it becomes much easier. The complex productions we think we need, most of us don't actually need. We think we want them because we've heard about them, but we haven't bothered to look them up ourselves. And good people, all they want is to be themselves, to know what they like, and to be present and authentic instead of playing the role they're supposed to be. And now we come to the main reason, the fifth reason. This is the primary reason why women lose their sex drive after marriage. We have weakened our men to the point of weakness. Let me repeat. We have weakened our men to the point of weakness. This isn't something that happened to us. It's something we did. Here's how it happens. We slowly and systematically weaken our men, often without realizing it. We humiliate them. We constantly push them to do wrong. We criticize everything they do. We criticize how they load the dishwasher, how they fold their clothes, how they discipline their children, how they drive, even how they breathe. We repeatedly tell them they are incompetent, that everything they do is wrong, and that they must change, improve, and transform into someone they once were. We treat them like children, speak to them condescendingly, ignore them, complain when they speak, reject their ideas, and disregard their decisions. Then we wonder why we don't want to sleep with them. We certainly didn't learn it from them. We stripped them of their manhood. We turned strong men into mere shells. We corrupted them until they became just what I wanted. And this particular word comes up most often when I talk about women who have done this to their husbands. I feel utterly disgusted. They say they are disgusted by their husbands, find them repulsive, and believe they are to blame, that there is something wrong with them. They don't realize that they created him. They gave him to a woman who has no appeal, and then they blame him for not paying attention to her. It's destructive behavior stemming from their own actions, but the most complicated part is here. The way we destroy our men stems from our own feelings. When we treat good men this way, when we constantly shame, criticize, and mislead them, it reflects who we truly are. It's a mirror showing how much we hate ourselves. Deep down, we hate ourselves. We hate who we are. And because we can't stand it, we focus on those closest to us. We hate ourselves and unleash our anger on them. We don't have the context to see it. We haven't learned to look inward and take responsibility. Instead, we're told it's because of our upbringing, our childhood, the traumas we've experienced, and our parents' mistakes. But the truth is, because of our choices and appearances, we're not happy with ourselves. Because deep down, we know we're not good wives, good partners, or good people. And instead of fixing that, we're destroying our marriages. So where are we now? Listen, I'm not saying this to embarrass anyone. I'm sharing this because I've been through it myself. I was a woman isolated from herself, punishing herself, controlling everything, working instead of being present, and slowly destroying my husband's sense of masculinity. I know this path, and I know there's a way out. That way out begins with complete and painful honesty with ourselves about what's going on inside us. It begins with reconnecting with ourselves, not in the relaxed, comfortable way magazines portray it, but in a genuine way that forces us to see the darker aspects and take responsibility for them. It begins with ceasing to judge, acknowledging when we criticize, resist, control, and choose differently. It begins with understanding that intimacy isn't something we give or take away. It's a pleasure we enjoy as we strive to become the woman we desire. The marriage you long for is possible, but it requires change, not from him, but from you. Thank you for being here today. I know it was difficult, but the talks really changed the situation. See you next time.